This is Wish TV, your local news source. News 8 at 10 continues.
In tonight's We Stand Together, we tackle social justice, equity, and inclusion.
News 8's David Williams sat down with the director of Public Allies Indianapolis. She says there's still work that needs to be done in central Indiana.
Listening to Vicki Rubio speak, you can feel her passion and her sincerity. Since 2016, she has led Public Allies Indianapolis as program director. That's an intense leadership program focused on equity and inclusion in places like government and schools. More than 200 Hoosiers have gone through the program since 2009. Allies, as they call them, go through community service projects and training on issues like social justice. Rubio has helped people from all walks of life groom their leadership potential and how it can make a difference.
One of the things you have helped people with is learning about social justice. Talk about that briefly.
Sure. So one of the key components of our program are trainings, and when it comes to social justice, we really look at intersectionality. And so it's both understanding race as a foundation for oppression in this country, but also how does that intersect with different things like ability. How do we make sure our environments, our events are accessible to people with all different kinds of abilities? How we think about gender and sexuality. All of those things are interconnected and really impact people and the way they experience the world. And so that's true both for our allies, but it's also true for the people that they serve. And so it's really important to us that as our allies are out in the community, that they're doing their own self-reflection and their own growing, but they're also being prepared to create inclusive spaces for all of the people that they're going to encounter, whether that's at their organization or in their service project, whatever that space might be.
Let's change gears and talk about the George Floyd video. What is your gut reaction to watching that video?
So, to be honest, I didn't watch it. And mainly that was because I didn't want to have the trauma that comes with those videos. And there's always another video, right? There's Jacob Blake who was just shot up in Wisconsin, in Kenosha. And so my gut reaction is anger, it's frustration, it's sadness, probably really heavy on the frustration that we haven't moved faster. We haven't done our jobs as citizens to really protect all people.
You mentioned this program that you have worked on since 2016. One of those topics being social justice. Dive deeper into that. Tell me about how that weaves into this new national movement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting when we think about this as a new national movement, because it's not, right? The fight for social justice, the fight for civil rights has a very long history that predates my role here, that predates our organization. But Public Allies specifically is focused on equity and inclusion in the nonprofit and public sector.
Tell me about the work you guys do and how you hope that impacts Central Indiana.
Mm-hmm. So our allies, when they're in the program, they're serving at either a nonprofit, a school, or government agency, doing a variety of projects, really supporting those organizations and working to make an impact in the community. They're going through training, like I mentioned, and they also work on what we call a team service project. So they're getting a lot of variety of experiences, engaging with a lot of different people. And those experiences are what are propelling them to the next steps. And so what we do in our program, I believe, is really important, but what happens after is more important. Our allies are leaders in our community. They work in city government, they own their own businesses, they work in nonprofits, they lead nonprofits. The foundation that they're getting as they think about equity and inclusion, as they think about how to push back against these racist systems, that's really important, and in carrying out a larger long-term impact of changing the structures that we live in to be more equitable.
What is your message to people across Central Indiana?
Mm-hmm. My message is do the work. Whether that's at a personal level, whether that's at a structural level, there's work that each one of us needs to do. And it looks like a variety of things, but we need to be doing the work. Examine the organizations that you're in, examine your environment, question things, ask, are these conditions equitable for everyone? Are they equitable for Black people, for Indigenous people, for Latinos? Are we really examining our systems and really thinking about how we can make a difference? Because everybody has power to make change. It doesn't have to be monumentous change, but it can still be change and it can still be impactful.
And remember, you can still listen to our We Stand Together podcast anytime. Find tonight's episode and others online at the allindianapodcastnetwork.com.